Well, hello again. This is Pam, and it's Monday, May 18th. Welcome to the reading of the Mansfield News Journal. We begin today's reading with the area deaths. Betty Ellen Barnett passed away Thursday at Wedgwood Estates. She was 94. A celebration of Betty's life will be held at a later date. Her final resting place will be in the columbarium at the First Congregational Church. Snyder Funeral Homes is honored to serve Betty's family. Phyllis A. Sawyers Bryant, 82, formerly of Ashland, passed away Tuesday at Mansfield Place. Graveside services will be held at 1 p.m. Tuesday in Imhoff Cemetery, Ashland. Warner Gomp Funeral Services in Mansfield is handling the arrangements. Jan Baxter Dunlop passed away into the Lord's care May 11th, surrounded by family. He was 78 years old. Private funeral services are under the care of the Lexington Avenue Snyder Funeral Home. Mary Edith Graham, 84, of Mount Gilead, passed away May 16th. Snyder Funeral Home is handling those services. John H. Hill, 93, of Bucyrus, passed away peacefully on Saturday at Carlisle Place in Bucyrus. The family will be holding private services at the Moons Pernstill Funeral Home in Bucyrus. Burial will follow in Iberia Cemetery. Sandra Lee Hinkle, age 71, passed away Thursday at Ohio Health Mansfield. Private family services will be held. Barkdall Funeral Home and Crematory is assisting the family with arrangements. Scott Kimball Hunter, 71, of Mansfield, passed away Wednesday evening at Ohio Health Mansfield Hospital. A private family memorial service will be held at a future date. The Ontario home of Wapner Funeral Directors is privileged to serve the family. Alvin H. Al Lenhart, 89, of Mansfield, passed away Saturday in Ohio Health Mansfield Hospital. Private graveside services will be held in Mansfield Memorial Park. The Lexington Avenue Snyder Funeral Home is honored to serve the family. Jerry Kenneth Lukey, 80, transitioned this life on Friday in his home after an extended illness. Friends may call Wednesday in the chapel of Williams Funeral Service from 4 to 6 p.m. Limitations of 10 persons at a time and masks will be observed. Private funeral services will be held on Thursday in the chapel. Interment will be in Mansfield Cemetery. Gary S. Mansfield, 76, passed away at home on Saturday. A private interment will take place at Ashland Cemetery, and depending on circumstances, a public celebration of his life may be held in the near future. The Fisher Funeral Home in Warsaw is handling arrangements. Fran Norris, 82, of Mansfield, passed away Saturday at Ohio Health Mansfield Hospital. There will be no services at this time. Burial in Windsor Park Cemetery will be held at a later date. The Ontario home of Wapner Funeral Directors is honored to serve the family. Betty Lewis Wadley Nothacker, age 85, resident of Mansfield, died Thursday in her home surrounded by her loving family. Graveside services will be held at 12 p.m. May 21st at Oakland Cemetery in Shelby. Barkdall Funeral Home and Crematory is assisting the family with arrangements. Leo George Phillips, 82, a lifelong resident of the Mansfield-Ashland area, died on Sunday at Riverside Hospital in Columbus. No calling hours or services are planned at this time. Warner Gomp Funeral Services Limited is assisting the family with the arrangements. John J. Smith, born on January 21, 1932, peacefully passed away at home with family on May 12, 2020. A time for receiving of friends and memorial funeral mass will be announced in the near future. Arrangements by the Thomas I. Wisniewski Funeral Home in Toledo. Patricia Pat Ann Shulko passed away May 11th after a short illness. No ceremonies are planned at this time. A celebration of her life will take place at a later date. Phil Sidnor, 56, of Mansfield, passed away May 9th. Snyder Funeral Home is serving the family. John L. Thompson, 63, of Shelby, passed away May 15th. Penwell Turner Funeral Home will be assisting this family. Well, my friends, that concludes the Monday Mansfield News Journal area death notices. Let's move on to our first article. Coronavirus Heroes Honored with Flybys by Lou Whitmire. The roar of the C-130s could be heard from a distance as they approached from the west and headed over the parking lot of Ohio Health Mansfield Hospital on Friday. The flybys were to honor the heroes fighting COVID-19. Pilots from the 179th Airlift Wing of the Ohio Air National Guard in the Big Plains Friday were Colonel Darrell Hamilton, Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Dudley, Major David Stevens, and Captain Frank Zonscherb. A number of staff, including nurses and physicians, and Vincent Yates, president of Ohio Health Mansfield and Shelby, stood outside the hospital at 335 Glessner Avenue to enjoy the salute. The Ohio Air National Guard's 179th Airlift Wing conducted a series of flybys Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. across the state of Ohio as a salute to the healthcare workers and others in the forefront of the fight against COVID-19 and to lift the spirits and morale of all Ohioans. Richland County residents took to social media after they saw or heard the roar of the engines of the two C-130 military transport planes from Belleville and beyond. The 179th Airlift Wing conducted a series of flyovers of cities and hospitals. The schedule included Ontario at 11:02 a.m., Mansfield at 11:03 a.m., Lexington 11:04 a.m., Belleville 11:05 a.m., and Shelby 12:51 p.m. The C-130s also flew over Bucyrus, Marion, and Ashland. Yates talked to the media after the flyby. As I listened to our associates and some of the physicians out here, they are so proud of what they do, Yates said. And it's that reminder that the community is deeply supporting everything that they do. Yates said an RN came outside not knowing quite what to expect and said she felt emotional as the two C-130s passed overhead. It gives that one burst of positivity. They are doing an awful lot. Our folks, I couldn't be prouder of them, but the work they are doing each and every day. This is going to be here for a long period of time, Yates said. I think that's what I'm looking at. The more we can embrace each other as a community, and no matter how much we love embracing each other, these planes are pretty special, he added. And quite honestly, it just brings a little bit of chill down your arm, and I think that's what they felt whenever we can do that. They appreciate it. Yates said the staff appreciated the chalk messages and the prayers and thoughts as well. He said some employees in the COVID-19 units have been working with patients since March. The good news is, if we do get surges at any point in time, our nurses, our associates, our RTs have all had the ability to spend 6+ weeks really understanding how to talk to patients and really do a good job, he said. Moving on, the next article titled Volunteer Contact Tracers Are Sought by Monroe Trombley. Richland Public Health is recruiting volunteers to help trace and isolate new cases of the novel coronavirus and avoid local outbreaks as the state continues to lift restrictions on businesses and increase its testing capacity. When asked how many volunteers the Public Health Agency is shooting for, Courtney Dill, supervisor of public health nursing, said, "As many as we can have." That number largely depends on the number of cases in the county revealed by testing and the number of contacts per person. We may have one day where we don't need anybody to assist us. We can handle it internally. And then we may have one phone call that has 50 or 60 contacts where we would need all hands on deck to try to get that accomplished, Dill said. Anyone who would like to volunteer can go to richlandccc.org and sign up through the Medical Reserve Corps, or the MRC. Volunteers must be over 18 and will be vetted and undergo virtual training. Contact tracing is nothing new to Richland Public Health and, for that matter, the other 112 local and county health departments in the state. It used to track and prevent the spread of communicable diseases such as whooping cough, measles, and tuberculosis. If we can get people before they are infectious and get them into a quarantine state, then we reduce the risk of transmission exponentially, Dill said. As of Thursday morning, about 360 people in Richland County have either been monitored or are being monitored after they came in contact with someone who had tested positive for COVID-19. the illness caused by the novel coronavirus. That number includes cases in Shelby, even though it has its own health department. About 16 people, mostly from Richland Public Health Nursing Department, are trained in contact tracing. Nurses who had worked in now shuttered school buildings have been hired to conduct case investigations and contact trace as well. When notified that someone had tested positive for COVID-19, a staff member calls that person and recommends they quarantine and not leave the house for 14 days. They are also asked to isolate themselves from other people in a residence by using a separate bedroom and bathroom if possible. They are then asked to share who they've come into contact with 48 hours prior to the onset of symptoms, and the health department asks those people to quarantine for 14 days as well. Tracers monitor those contacts every few days for signs of illness. The incubation period, or the time it takes for someone to become infectious after they've been exposed for COVID-19, is 2 to 14 days, Dill said, emphasizing that people can be infectious without displaying symptoms. As of Wednesday, there have been 128 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Richland County since March 19th. The state health department reported nearly 25,000 confirmed cases in Ohio, and just shy of 225,000 Ohioans have been tested. Governor Mike DeWine has said more contact tracing, along with widespread testing, is key to keeping infections down, and businesses are allowed to reopen with restrictions. In recent weeks, DeWine has announced deals with ROE Dental and Thermo Fisher to produce much-needed swabs and reagents, and wants the state to perform nearly 23,000 tests per day by May 27th. This week, Ohio has performed about 7,000 tests per day, according to the COVID Tracking Project, even though DeWine said Monday the state has a testing capacity of 14,275. Ohio has also partnered with Boston-based Partners in Health to expand the number of contact tracers in the state by over 1,000. On Monday, the State Controlling Board, a panel largely consisting of legislators, approved use of federal COVID-19 related funding. Among the money freed up was $12.4 million for local health departments to perform contact tracing of potentially infected Ohioans in May and June. If our contact tracing needs exceed our in-house capabilities, we will most certainly close that gap by volunteers or hiring individuals for this purpose as needed, said Richland Public Health Commissioner Sarah Humphrey. The expansion in contact tracing has raised privacy concerns for some. Dill said the tool has nothing to do with tracking someone's physical movement. It's really just getting their information and advising them about quarantine and what they should do to help prevent the spread of the infection, Dill said. It is simply information shared with the health department to try to decrease and mitigate the spread of an infectious disease that's known in our community, she continued. We abide by HIPAA compliance, and that can be frustrating sometimes for our contacts because we do not share the name of the person who they have come in contact with. Privacy is of extreme importance to us to maintain that confidentiality. One tool that Richland Public Health uses to trace the virus is a text message system developed by the Ohio Department of Health. With their consent, a contact is sent a text message and they can share their symptoms and temperatures when replying. This health department is working very hard to not only do a thorough job of contact tracing, but to do it in a respectful manner and in a timely manner as well, Dill said. This next article is titled, Lexington Sets Graduation for June 27th by Mark Cotto. The class of 2020 will wait a bit longer to be celebrated. Lexington has scheduled its commencement ceremony for 2 p.m. June 27th at Storyside Church in Belleville. The rain date is 2 p.m. June 28th. The ceremony will be comparable to a drive-in movie experience with an FM radio transmitter in the parking lot. WMFD TV will live stream the ceremony for others to watch at home. We surveyed the seniors, high school principal Kevin Young said. The two things that were most important to them were being able to walk across the stage and having classmates and family there. Young said Storyside Church reached out to the district. A parent said they had an Easter service there and it worked out really well, Young said. They've been fabulous as far as what they're willing to offer. It's not just the parking lot. They have technology. 1 vehicle per graduate is permitted, as well as 1 graduate and family per car. Police will direct traffic at the entrance. No large vehicles such as limousines or motorhomes will be permitted. Parking must be in every other space. Families must stay in their cars at all times. A photographer will take pictures of the graduate as they walk across the stage. Photos will be available at no charge. Graduates will be brought to the tent area 5 at a time via Remind. Join the senior class Remind at remind.com/join/9873H2 or by texting the message at 9873H2 to the number 81010. Individuals are asked to have a phone with them and come quickly as their names are sent out on Remind. They are recommended to wear a mask while out of their vehicle. Graduates should stay 6 feet apart and follow directions to the tent. The students will walk up on stage 1 at a time when their name is called. They will pick up their diploma from the table, walk across the stage, and exit the other side. Their picture will be taken at this time. Graduates are instructed to return immediately to their vehicle and not leave the parking lot until the ceremony is over. We're still working out the logistics, Young said. We have a month. I don't know if the restrictions will be lessened. In addition, the district is planning to have 2020 graduate yard signs made and displayed in the village square, as well as banners. Also, Snyder Funeral Home has offered to provide a free MP4 video tribute for the class of 2020. We're committed to giving this great class of 2020 the send-off they deserve, Young said. Students can pick up their graduation packets at the high school on June 1st. The times are 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for those whose last names end in A through K, and 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. for those whose last names end in L through Z. At that time, they can also drop off their textbooks. There will be a drop-off area in the senior lot. Graduates should stay in their cars and drive through during the process. Well, moving on to the next article. Ashland U votes no confidence in AU president by Samantha Ickes. Ashland University's educators are making it clear they're unhappy with University President Carlos Campo. In a 34-1 vote during a special meeting on Friday, the Faculty Senate said it has no confidence in Campo's performance. Campo has repeatedly demonstrated an inability or unwillingness to collaborate with the faculty, communicate with the faculty, or foster an atmosphere of trust and respect, Senate President Diane Bonfiglio said in an email. The email also said the group requested the Board of Trustees begin a search for new executive leadership. The no confidence vote was taken in a closed-door meeting via Zoom. Campo said in an email statement he learned of the vote Friday evening and that he did not have enough context to comment at this time. I can say that this vote will not deter me or our leadership team from our ongoing efforts to listen thoughtfully to the range of views being expressed by members of the faculty and to work collegially and constructively with them to address the important economic and academic matters facing Ashland University, he said in an email. Ashland University spokeswoman Tammy Mosser said the trustees have not had time to review faculty concerns and will release a statement in the next few days. The vote came after Bonfiglio sent an email to faculty that included a report of the May Board of Trustees meeting. Bonfiglio addressed 6 issues, including a motion being considered by the board that would result in cutting a number of academic programs. A sunsetting task force has been established to identify 25 academic programs to keep. According to the university's website, Ashland now features more than 70 undergraduate programs. According to a recap of the Ashland University Board of Trustees meeting sent to Senate members by Bonfiglio, the motion was amended to remove the cap of 25 programs. The amendment also requires Academic Affairs and the Provost to present detailed financial analysis and justification if the plan proposes keeping more than 30 programs. The elimination of academic programs should be completed this summer. In November, the university projected $1.6 million budget shortfall for the fiscal year ending May 31st. A spending and non-essential hiring freeze was put in place for the rest of the fiscal year. Earlier this month, the Times-Gazette reported the university lost at least $4.4 million in revenue because of the virus. Mosser told the Times-Gazette the loss of income was a combination of room and board refunds to students and other auxiliary revenues lost, such as cancellation of conferences and private lessons. Messages left with Bonfiglio were not immediately returned. The university is not the only Ohio college taking similar action against its leadership. On May 4th, Ohio University's Faculty Senate approved a vote of no confidence in Ohio University President Duane Nellis and Vice President for Finance Deborah Schaefer. The faculty group accused them of leading the university to a budget crisis made much worse by the corona pandemic. Across Ohio, colleges, including University of Akron, have been slashing budgets because of the pandemic. This next article is titled Delaney Returns to Sidelines to Lead Cardington by Jake Furr. New Cardington Lincoln boys basketball coach Mark Delaney is ready to plant some roots. It means good news for the Pirates. On May 11th, Delaney was approved by the school board as the next boys basketball coach for the Pirates program. He takes over for Nick Winthrow, who spent 2 years as head coach before stepping down. Delaney gets to relive his passion after taking the last 4 seasons off of coaching to watch his nephew play at Clear Fork, Delaney's alma mater. Coaching has always been my passion, Delaney said, so I don't think I have ever been really out of it. I've spent the last few years watching my nephew Ethan play, and I've always had that coaching mentality with him and trying to help him get better. Delaney's basketball resume is impressive. At Clear Fork, he helped lead the Colts to the Division III state championship in 2002. He was named Tournament MVP for his efforts. That year, the Colts went 25-2, and Delaney was their leading scorer at 14 points a game. He scored 16 points in the 54-51 state champion win over Columbus Bishop. Ready? After playing a year at Ohio Wesleyan University, Delaney transferred to Ashland University to continue his academic career and get his foot in the door in the coaching profession at Ashland and Wooster High Schools. In 2006, he coached at Cedarville University before following legendary coach Don Meyer to Northern State University in South Dakota. Delaney then took a job coaching at Grace College in 2009 before accepting the athletic director position at Marion Local in Maria Stein for the 2010-11 year, then moving closer to home and taking the head coaching job at Fredericktown in 2011. He spent the next 2 seasons at Fredericktown compiling a 38-10 record, including a 21-win season in 2012-13. After his 2 seasons at Fredericktown, he accepted a teaching position as well as a head coaching position at Winford for the 2014-15 season, where he led the Royals to a 12-11 record. He stayed 1 season before taking the next 4 years off to watch his nephew. The thing that has always been a regret for me is not having that opportunity to see the fruit of my labor 6 years down the road and to really see if I could get a program going to where I want it to go, Delaney said. I am happy to get the chance to do that at Cardington. After many years of bouncing around, Delaney believes Cardington is the place he can plant his roots and see the fruits of his labor thanks to great leadership. Honestly, it is and was always the hope to plant roots, Delaney said. I am excited because I believe I found a great situation with aligned leadership and a lot of support for the program. I am settled now as well. I built a house in Butler, and the KMAC is right in my backyard. I'm familiar with those schools, so it's just a very good situation right now. The world of a high school coach has many challenges, such as angry parents and lack of administrative support. Longtime Sandusky Perkins coach Scott McVeigh, who spent the last 18 years as head basketball coach, was let go and given parental complaints as a reason. Delaney isn't worried about that kind of situation at Cardington. He is also confident the Pirates have a bright future ahead on the court. I've been convinced that this is a strong leadership group and the parents' support is there, Delaney said. As soon as I saw the position was open, I did as much research as I possibly could, and from what I was able to gather, it looks like we have the most returning lettermen of any team in the KMAC and an 8-man deep senior class. There is some great young talent, so I think we will be deep and competitive. This could be a big year for us, but I haven't been able to see them in person. Delaney went through the hiring process via the internet due to the coronavirus pandemic. No matter how he was hired, he is just ecstatic to add coach to his name. It is very humbling to be called a coach again and be in that circle, Delaney said. I respect and honor that circle. There are a lot of people who want to coach. They love the kids and love the locker room, and I'm no different. It is a humbling feeling, and I am honored to have the opportunity to lead young men again. He is also very happy with another situation which should lead to a lot of success in the future. The major thing moving forward is the football coach and I were hired in at the same time, Delaney said. To have two coaches come in at the same time really helps develop the same philosophies and vision. To have that unity is so important, and the best way to build a program is to align coaches and the administration. I've been so impressed with the administration during the interview process. The Pirates are in the middle of 3 consecutive losing seasons. After going 3-19 in 2017-18 and 2-20 in 2018-19, they improved greatly with a 10-14 season, including a tournament win in 2019-20. Delaney sees some great years ahead for the Pirates. The athletes are there, and we can be very competitive in the KMAC, Delaney said. I love the small town country feel because that is what I grew up with. I'm excited. Cardington has had a ton of success in the past. I remember the Levering boys, Andy and Adam, when Roger Jury took them to the Final Four in 1996. I recruited Riley Thomas when I was a coach at Grace College and watched when Rod Brown took them to a league title in 2017. Their girls' programs are phenomenal right now, too, so it feels like the right fit. Well, let's move on to some briefs, news in the briefs. First one, authorities dispute over $10 ends in a fight and a fatal shooting. In Middletown, a dispute over $10 sparked a brawl at an Ohio home this week that ended with one man fatally shooting another, authorities said. Demir Hamid Scott, 24, of Middletown, turned himself in Wednesday and will face murder charges in the death of John Booker, 36. It wasn't known if Scott had retained an attorney. The shooting occurred Monday at a Middletown home where Scott's father and Booker's mother lives. Citing police and court records, the Dayton Daily News reports that Scott went to the home Monday and dropped off $30 for his younger brother. When Booker arrived at the home later that day, he took $10 from the cash that was sitting on a shelf and refused demands to put it back. Scott's father called him to report what had happened, and Scott returned to the home Monday night. Scott and Booker began arguing, and it soon turned physical. The fight eventually moved to the front porch, where Scott allegedly shot Booker, who was taken to a hospital but died there a short time later. No other injuries were reported in the shooting, which remains under investigation. Well, our next item is titled Authorities. Officer shoots and kills a man armed with a knife. In Uniontown Township, a man armed with a knife was shot and killed during a confrontation with police in southwestern Ohio, authorities said. The shooting in Uniontown Township occurred shortly after 10:30 p.m. Thursday, when officers responded to reports of a disturbance in the Claremont County community. An officer encountered Robert Tincher, 49, who then approached the officer and ignored repeated commands to put the knife down, authorities said. The officer then fired at least one shot, striking Tincher. The officer was not injured, and Tincher was taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead a short time later. The officer's name has not been released. Well, our next brief is titled Family Man Shot in Walmart Settles Suit with the City. In Dayton, the family of a black man who was fatally shot by a white police officer in an Ohio Walmart store has settled a wrongful death lawsuit with the city, according to the family's lawyer. Beaver Creek police officer Sean Williams shot 22-year-old John Crawford III soon after he picked up an unpackaged pellet rifle that he found on a store shelf in August 2014. The city and Crawford family have reached a settlement agreement of $1.7 million and police policy changes, the Cincinnati Enquirer reported Thursday. I don't think any type of monetary reward that will bring much satisfaction to the family. This was a decision made based on the facts in the litigation, said Crawford family attorney Michael Wright. A federal grand jury declined to indict Williams in Crawford's death in July 2017. Wright said the family intends to move forward with a wrongful death lawsuit against Walmart, which is scheduled to go to trial on November 2nd. Well, my dear friends, this concludes the reading of the Mansfield News Journal for Monday, May 18th. This is Pam saying please stay in if you can. Stay safe, be blessed, and make it a great day.